just watched the Student Film Package 3. I have two of those filmmakers here with me now, which I'm really excited to chat with. I have a whole bunch of questions about their stories. They were so good if you haven't seen them. So let's bring on Yolan and Alexis. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi. Hey, how are you?
It's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for jumping in and being a part of our film festival and a part of the call. Both of your films were absolutely fantastic, and I know Yolan was a. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry, I think I'm being a part of our film festival. Can you hear myself right now? Isn't that weird? Both of your films.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
I have the live stream up somewhere on my. I'm just gonna stop talking for a minute. Now I'm hearing myself talking about hearing myself. Hold on one second. Oh, there you are. There we go. Sorry about that. I actually had another window open with the live stream on, so it was taking in here and playing it back on my computer. Anyway, guys, sorry about that. But both of you guys have extremely beautiful films. Alexis, you being a documentary, and Yolan being a narrative. So the first question I have for you guys is what inspired you guys to tell this story, and why did you guys pick the story in the first place? We'll start with Yolan, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, so I was just talking with Alex about that. So basically my story is about this Chinese immigration couple that having this loss of romance in the 1990s. So basically the story is part of true based on the experience of my aunt. Like when I was growing up, like she was a doctor, she was a female that is really like inspiring. But she kind of gave up her career at the time and went to the US to reunite with her husband at the time. So there's this actual event that happened during my life, this 4 years that she went to US and came back, just her and with my cousin at the time. So ever since then, she never spoke of her husband. And I was always curious about what happened during those 4 years. And then what is the life like for people that travel to another country to study and to leave and to be separate from family. So that's kind of the inspiration for my story, that I want to really like discuss what's the possibility of you giving up your family and go to another country to pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
It's kind of the inspiration, yeah.
Wow, that's an incredible story. How about you, man? You did a beautiful documentary. Tell us a little more about that story.
Yeah, so it was sort of based off of a relationship that I built with Jean-Claude, the main protagonist of the film, and who the story is about. So it was a friendship that we built over time, that I had already traveled to Rwanda to be a part of the organization that he was getting help from. So I had been doing a lot of work with them, and within one of the trips, I became really close friends with the main character, Jean-Claude, and we started to develop that story, and he felt like it was necessary to tell his story. He wanted to make sure that others like him in Rwanda were able to relate to someone and find inspiration to have the ability to express themselves as HIV individuals and being able to have the freedom that other normal people do without the stigma surrounding HIV. And so he thought that it was very important to share it with other individuals. And so I carried on what he wanted me to do and decided to film the story along with his permission. So we made it happen.
Amazing. No, so it was actually, he actually wanted to do it from the get-go. And wow. That's amazing. I mean, I think you're totally right. It's a super powerful story I think it needs to be shared. And I think your way of telling it was spot on, man. And we're super honored to have it. So, right, you guys both have two fantastic films. I want to know, obviously, you guys are students. So that's like, is this your first project? Have you done other projects or? Sorry, I'll take that different
one. So that film was my thesis film. So before that, I made like 2 short films in the US before. But prior to making film here, I also used to work like in TV and stuff in China and other countries. So I think that experience helped me. I wasn't really in filmmaking, but I think the storytelling is the same in every like media profession, like in TV and even literature. So I think that experience really helped me making my film. So technically that should be my third short film. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Wow.
How
Yeah,
was
that was my first. It was
way.
my first
great.
individual. Well, besides like being a PA for others, or doing other work for others, this was my first documentary as myself.
Wow.
So that was the film I created when I was a senior in college, and that was like basically my senior thesis film at the end of it. That then was encouraged by my advisor at the time, Dave Buisson, who one of his films actually also premiered earlier this week.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so
That's
it was about Nuremberg trials.
The censoring one.
Yeah, the censoring
Oh,
one.
yes. That was such a good film. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So he was my advisor, and so he encouraged me to pursue this story as well. And so I decided to make the film with his help.
Oh, that's amazing. I actually saw that film in Cincinnati at a film festival before. That's incredible, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Yolan, and I'll ask you next, Alexa, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome with this film? And how did you overcome it too?
I think the biggest was discussing the issue. Being as a new documentary filmmaker, it was a difficult subject to be asking questions about and ensuring that I was respectful with the story. So that was the biggest challenge, was making sure that I was doing right by his story, and that I was making sure that I didn't like twist his words or do anything to really affect the way in which he's perceived in the film. Making sure that his voice is heard. That was, I think, the biggest challenge. And then in terms of filming it itself, traveling to Rwanda was a difficult part of, bringing all the equipment. And so that was a whole new challenge that I had never had the experience with. Traveling with bags and bags of equipment.
Oh, man.
So that was the first. So that was one of the other challenges as well.
Yeah. Yolan, what do you have?
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest would be the casting process from the very beginning. Because we make films, like we're based in Florida and we're making films here. But we had the opportunity to go to like New York and LA to cast, like a very few of us. But the problem would be like, because I know that my actors would be very specific. Like they're not only Asian, they're not only Chinese, but they have to like have the knowledge of what the life is living in mainland China, and also they have to have the skill to performance. They have to have the right accent. So I was really trying very hard to avoid that, to cast someone that has the Asian face, but maybe not the right accent, maybe not the right origin and stuff. Because in that way, they probably look Asian, but they can't really like deliver what's the message. So that really took me a lot of time to find the right cast, which I was really lucky to find them. But I think even though like Hollywood is really big, it's still pretty challenging to find like Asian actors even these days.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's both incredible stories. So I have one more question for you guys. Well, technically two more. It's a two-parter. So I want to know, what's the one thing you guys are most proud about with this film? And also, how can we stay up to date with all the stuff you guys are doing? Can we follow you guys on social media? Do you have a website? I think I would definitely want to see your future work. So we'll start with Yolan on this one.
Yeah, okay. So wait, what was the first question? The thing the most proud of, yes. Yeah, so I'm really proud of that people from any background and nationality were able to connect with it. I think my initial worry was that I felt like, this is like very specific, like an Asian couple, a Chinese couple. Will everyone feel the same way, like the loss of love and stuff? But it seems that people who have watched it all told me that, it reminds them of their relationships, or it reminds them of something. So I was really proud of that's my only purpose, was to connect with the audience. So it did that, and I'm really, really glad and proud of that. And yeah, and I have social media, like I have like my accounts and account for this film particularly. So I don't know how to share. Like
you just say it.
Okay. So my social media, I only use Instagram, so it would be my name, LANHUEVER. So that's Yalan Whoever. And then and then for my film, it would be Separation 2019. That's
awesome.
easy to remember.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And listen, what we got.
Yeah. So it's very similar in the way of connecting to the audience. I think that was the biggest takeaway that I really enjoyed, was the fact that I've had individuals with HIV contact me and say, like, this is a story that I relate to from Rwanda. Or, I mean, also here in the US, where they're like, I think it's important to talk about the stigma that surrounds HIV and the experiences of those with HIV, and ensuring that, you know, they also deserve a life, a normal life, just like everyone else. And so having that connection with individuals has been very powerful, I think, and something that I definitely have appreciated and felt inspired to continue telling other stories as well. So in that sense, connecting to me, I have a website, alexisLopezFilms.myportfolio.com, where you can reach out, find more contact in terms of Instagram. And I have other projects in the works right now. You know, the pandemic kind of slowed things down, but but hopefully coming next year, there will be more work.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you guys both should be extremely proud of the work you guys did, especially as student filmmakers. It's amazing. We're so honored to have you guys. So please stay in touch, and thank you so much for being a part of this. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh man, that's great. There's some great filmmakers, and it's been so awesome meeting everybody through this week. It's sad to see it's coming to an end. We only have a couple more hours left. I'm actually in the process of getting ready to present the awards, hence why this cool pineapple shirt. But yeah, guys, we still got another film plan. The awards, hopefully in 7:30-ish, we're aiming towards. We're still in the middle of finalizing them now. But until then, guys, I'll see you at the movies.